Hello everyone, how's it going today? Chelsea Face here, and I'm excited to give you this last month's wrap up. October, that is. So for the month of October, I read 10 books in total, so that's pretty good. Most of them were manga though. I only read like 1 or 2 actual books. But I was just in the mood for manga this past month, so you're gonna see that definitely. Let's just jump into this. Okay, first I read volume 18 of Fruits Basket. I told you guys I've been rereading the series and I finally finished it this month. So I read 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. So that's all of the manga finished in the series that I have. And next I really want to get into her other series like Fruits Basket Another Fruits Basket. I forget which one it is. And then she's also working on a new series of Fruits Basket, a couple of them. So those will be out in like a few years. Like it's going to take a while, but I'm really excited about those as well. If you're interested in her work, I highly recommend Fruits Basket. It's not her first, but it's definitely my favorite of her work that I've read so far. I've checked out Tsubasa and it was great, but it wasn't for me. And Fruits Basket really just hits the nail on the head for the kinds of books I like to read. The entire series, I think I gave every single book 5 stars except the first one, and that's just because it was an introductory one, so it was a little slow, and so I gave that one 4, but all of the rest of them I've given 5 stars, so each of these was 5 stars. The end of this series especially is so wonderful, and everything is wrapping up. It is definitely a show that wraps up pretty nicely. I don't know if there are any loose ends that weren't tied up. And some people don't like that. They like loose ends and everything, but some people, that's their cup of tea. And so if you like a nice wrapped up ending, whether that's good or bad or in between, I recommend this series highly. It is so good. The art gets so much better towards the end, I will say. Her art style really develops at the end of this series, and the characters age well. So it's like they don't just stay 15 throughout the entire series. They grow up and they look mature, and even their speech changes. Like, I just really love how she crafts her world, and it's just so good. Like, I love this series so much. 10 out of 10. Okay, next I read volumes 1 and 2 of My Girlfriend's a Geek. I got the first 3 volumes of this from a friend of mine a long time ago, and I need to get the other, I think there's like 5 or 6 volumes maybe. So I need to pick those up because I do want to finish it. I gave both of these 3 stars because when I first read it, I loved it. I loved everything I read back then. And rereading it now, I definitely see some glaring issues with it. The art style is okay. I don't particularly hate it, and I don't particularly obsess over it. But I think the content of this is a little strange. If you don't know, it's based on I think an online blog, like between these 2 people. It was a boy and a girl who, the guy I guess was just this normal guy, and the girl was like an otaku, weeaboo, just really into nerdy things and fandoms and anime and manga series and all that stuff. She's so obsessed, like beyond obsessed. I think she might have had some issues based on this. Like, I haven't read the actual book blog thing, but I know that some of the things were exaggerated in manga form just because it's a manga. I don't know, like I felt bad for the guy the entire time reading these. Like, he just kind of seems like her play toy, and like she doesn't really love him. Like, she ends up dating the guy, obviously because of the title, not really a spoiler, but they're dating, and the whole time she just keeps calling him Sebas, like Sebastian, like the butler. And I don't know, like, she never calls him by his real name. She never does anything like intimate or lovey with him. She just kind of flirts with him, and it feels like she's dragging him along the entire time. I do need to finish it because it might actually end very well, but for these 2, and I'm in the middle of the 3rd one, it just kind of feels like a waste of time for everyone involved, me included, and I just don't really understand how it's actually a relationship and not just 2 really close friends. Because, I mean, they don't have to, like, you know, make out or anything, but there just doesn't seem to be any actual love or attraction there. It's just, I'm using you for entertainment kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I gave these 3 stars. I do really love the otaku talk. Like, there's so much talked about in here, like series that you might know, series that you don't know. There's a lot of language in here that you may not understand unless you're already in it. And they even put like glossaries in these books so that you understand the terminology they're using, because it's like really weeaboo. I like that. I think that's really fun to have, you know, terms that these people use to describe each other or themselves, or that people use against them and they're using them for their own benefit. Like they take the word and they claim it. So I really like that. It's very fun to learn some things, and also this book is full of that. So if you're not into decoding something, if you're not sure what it is, this isn't for you, because it's got a lot of specific types of language in it it's just interesting. Okay, now for the real book. I read Final Girls by Riley Sagar. This was written in 2017, and it's even blurred at the top by Stephen King. It says, "The first great thriller of 2017 is here." So that's pretty cool that he blurbed it on the front himself. On the back, it just has a bunch of different blurbs from people. There's one from Karen Slaughter, Lisa Gardner, Josh Mallerman, Hester Young, Jane Corey, and Holly Overton. I've only heard of half of those. On the inside, it has a little synopsis right here. Pretty much it says that it's supposed to be about a girl who is a final girl, and final girls are girls who survive, the last person to survive after like a massacre or like a mass murder, you know, when a bunch of people are murdered at the same time and then one person in the movies usually lives. So that's the final girl. So this book is supposed to be one of those final girls is moving on with her life and everything, and I'm trying not to spoil too much for you. I do have an in-depth review of this on my channel if you want to check that out. It does contain spoilers, so be prepared for that. But this one I will not. Some of the final girls meet up and some things happen, some good things happen, some really bad things happen, and some things are pushed to their limit. And it's just really interesting to see girls who have been through so much kind of overcome it and kind of move on past it, but also they still carry this hatred and like despair in their heart for things that have happened and people they've met. There's lots of like thrilling things that happen in this because it is a thriller. I will say that I did predict one of the twists at the end, not both of them. There were a couple, in my opinion, of twists, and I got one of them that I think was supposed to be like the big one, and then the second one I did not get. So that was really exciting because I usually try to predict the ending of thrillers just to see if I can get it right, just for fun. If I get them, that's fine. I mean, that's cool, you know. But if I don't, that's even better. Like, I like when they surprise me. And even if it's not necessarily what should have happened, I like a surprise. But this one did kind of go where I thought it would go. I don't particularly like the flashback chapters in this when they're going back to the massacre in time, like a few years ago, whenever it happened. You think that would be the more fun chapters because you get to see the actual action, but it was very cheesy. Teenagers go into the woods and have a party kind of thing. And that's just not for me. That's a very lame way to start a horror movie. I still watch those. Like, it's kind of trash horror in my opinion, but I did not really care for those chapters just because they were so boring. I liked the modern day when she's older and she's moved on kind of stuff. That was more interesting. I do wish that the relationship between Quincy, the main character, and her friend had been talked about more, because that was something that really intrigued me and was not really divulged into as much as I think it should have been. Overall, I gave this 4 stars. I do recommend it. It was a fun time. It took over half the book for me to actually really not want to stop reading. I've been reading this for a long time, maybe even 2 or 3 months, just because I just hadn't been in the mood for a regular book. Right now, though, I am plowing through them, if you can't tell on my Instagram. For now, I just gave it 4 stars. 4 is a good one for this. I highly recommend it, and Riley Sagar is definitely someone I plan to pick up another book of theirs in the future. I got this for $2 at my thrift store, so I did not pay full price for this book, even though it is like brand new. So I love getting books for a deal. Okay, and the last book that I read this month was The Cheater by R.L. Stine, Fear Street series. And if you know me, I collect these guys. I have always loved Fear Street and Goosebumps, R.L. Stine's older teenage middle grade work. That is my favorite of his stuff. I've never read any adult, so I don't know if I would like it, but I've heard bad things about the adult stuff, so I think I'll mostly stick to the middle grade and, you know, teenage age kind of material because it's just so fun. I collected these back in the day. I sold them because I was low on cash and I really have regretted it since. So now I've been rebuying the series, and I found a stash at a thrift store. If you watched my last regular vlog, I showed you all the things that I got from that haul, and it was amazing. Like, it was just a Salvation Army that I just happened to see, and I was like, I'll go. And they had a ton of these books, so I picked them all up, every single one of them, 50 cents a piece. So I got this one, and it is so short and easy to read. I think it's like 150 pages-ish. I gave it 3 stars because if you read these back in the day, you're anything like me, you love them. Like, they were the best books ever written on the planet. And I would have given them all 5 stars back then because they were so easy for me to follow. They felt advanced back then. They were fun and thrilling and horror. They were like a very chill version of a horror novel. I love that. I love that it got me into what I'm into as an adult. I just appreciate these books so much, and I love the old style of like photography and art on the front of these. They all have like a very fun cover, and so I just love how 80s and 90s they look. They're just so charming to me. This was printed in 1993. I was born in 91, so it's almost as old as I am. That's so cool. I love that. And it's still in pretty good condition. There's like a little spine breakage, but it's just fine. And I love collecting these. They're so funny. This story in particular, The Cheater, is about a girl named Carter who is rich and kind of spoiled, and I guess she's used to getting whatever she wants. A lot of the lines in this book are very chopped down and simplified because it was written for younger children and younger teens. I tried not to judge it too harshly based on that because I am an adult now and I read things much more advanced, even though I didn't realize that I did. But I did not hold that against the book. I merely judged it on the content. She's just a spoiled kid who gets what she wants. She's super rich. Her dad's a judge. She ends up cheating on a test and gets this guy to do it, and he ends up making her life a living heck, like using that to blackmail her. And so lots of things happen. She's made to do a bunch of stuff that she doesn't want to do. She even drags her friend into some things, and it just becomes a nightmare. And instead of just telling her father what happens, she just continues to please this guy. Then one night something really bad happens and her life is almost taken or something. Like, I'm not going to spoil too much, but pretty much, you know, it's not going to be bloody and gross. As far as blood and gore goes, these are very kid friendly. There is one scene with blood in it, but it's not what you think it is. It's not that bad. These are very tame thriller horror books, so I definitely recommend these to kids and teens mostly, just because, you know, the writing is for teens, but it is very easy to comprehend. Some kids may even think it's not high enough level for them depending on their reading skills. I love these as a teen. They're thrilling, horror, scary. They also teach a very valuable lesson in most of them. This one teaches you not to cheat on tests. I mean, even if you're rich, you can't do that because bad things happen. I think they're very good for that age range and teaching lessons and also giving them a good read and a good time. But yes, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. That was my October wrap up, and I read quite a bit. I didn't realize how many books I had read. Most of them were just manga though. This month I'm reading more actual books. I've already finished one and I'm about to be halfway through another one. So I'm really into what I'm reading right now. I do have a TBR to film also today, so you're gonna see me again. I'm excited to pick out some books that I might want to read. And of course, you know, who knows if I'll actually get to them, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've had a fantastic day and you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me know what kinds of videos you guys like to watch and curate content for my channel later in the future. I hope you're having a good day. I really do. You guys are awesome, and I've had some really good support. And yes, if you're wondering, I did dye my hair. It was for Halloween. I was poison ivy, and it's still there. Like, it's washed out every day that I've washed it, but it's still there, and I kind of dig it. It's interesting. I've never dyed my hair before, so broke my hair virginity. Bye, guys.